Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a video on how to do really easy beachy waves. I know it's really intimidating for some people and they don't know where to start or what products to use, and I'm going to tell you straight off the bat that it normally is the products that you use that's the most important part. Today I am using IGK products. I do have a code with them if you want to use it. It is a commission-based link, so I do get money if you do use my code and use the link that's in the description below. So today I use the IGK Direct Flight Dry Shampoo. This is really great for volumizing and soaking up all the excess oils in your scalp. And this is the Down and Out Dirty Spray. This is one of my favorite texture sprays of all time. It gives you the perfect amount of grit for the beachy waves that you want, and then that way you can just kind of puff it up like this and you can flip it from side to side and it'd be totally fine. Normally I don't like to do a middle part with waves just because if you do a middle part, sometimes it looks weird, especially if you have shorter hair like me. So I suggest if you have a bob, anything shorter than I have, definitely try and switch up your part, because if I have a middle part, I look like an egg. Not cute. So yeah, my code and my link to buy products like this will be linked in the description below, and it's also in my Instagram bio if you want to use that. And if you want to learn how to do beachy waves like this on short or long hair, it doesn't really matter. Keep on watching. Alright, so we are going to start this tutorial with my dirty 3, maybe 4 day hair. I have no shame, and neither should you, because dirty hair makes waving and curling so much easier, you have no idea. The number one most important thing before you even start to do this and to prep your hair is part it down wherever you feel comfortable with, and make sure all the knots are out, because we're going to dirty it up and make it super texturized later. You don't want to make more knots with product, so make sure it's all smoothed out. Okay, so dry shampoo is going to be your best friend with this. Like I said, 2 or 3 day hair is going to be the easiest to accomplish this style, just because you have a little bit of grit from your natural oils, but we're using the dry shampoo to volumize it a little bit and so you don't look like a grease ball. No one really loves that look. I don't. So I don't know how you roll, but I don't like the grease ball look. So I'm making sure to lift up the crown part that I did as well, because that, especially for me, tends to get really flat. And I'm just taking my fingertips and I'm massaging that into my scalp. That way there's no product buildup and it's doing the job that it needs to do. And now that you look kind of frightening, you're going to start to section your first quadrant. So this is going to be at the lower nape of your head. This is like, I would say, a 2 to 3 inch section. This is really important for me because this is where the shortest pieces of my haircut are. I'm using a Babyliss Pro 1-inch curling iron. I don't use a wand. I feel like the curling iron, when you're doing it on yourself, is so much easier because you have control over the iron and you have control over that small piece that you leave out on the ends, which is crucial to do a beachy wave. If you don't leave that little bit of hair out at the ends and just curl the midsection of the hair, it's gonna look like a prom curl and it's not gonna look like a beach wave. So I have a bunch of clips of me doing this. I'm gonna walk you through the 3 sections that I take when I do this on myself, so you'll be able to see it a couple of times, more than a couple of times, but just watch and learn. I feel like it's the easiest thing to do when you watch and then try and use an unplugged curling iron the first time, so then you kind of get the motion down. So you see my clamp is kind of facing where my mirror would be, and then I'm going in the midsection of the hair and curling away, but leaving the ends out. Alright, so moving on to the second section out of the 3 that we're going to do, just clipping that up again with a claw clip, and just showing again, when you're doing this on yourself in front of a mirror, you want to make sure that when you put it in that midsection, the clamp is facing the mirror. So I'm going in the midsection of the hair strand and I'm curling away from my face. You can definitely switch on and off if you do away and then forward, but it's just easier for me to do it away from my face. That way it's not all up in my face. I don't like that look. So going in the center, curling away, and making sure to leave the end out, but don't piece the waves out just yet. We'll do that at the end. You kind of want to let them curl and set, and then that way it won't fall flat throughout the day. If you're a beginner at this, I would say definitely do more sections if you need to. I'm only doing 3 because I've been doing this for a while. If you're one of my clients, you know that I do this style either on other clients that you've seen or on you. I do this a lot on my day-to-day life, so I've gotten pretty good at it and pretty fast, but I just wanted to break this down slower, and that's why I'm going so slow in this video. Another tip for you, if you're a beginner at this, if you can't get the ends as straight as you would like, curl it first and try and do the ends as straight as possible, and then if you have to go back in with a straightener or flat iron, then just straighten the ends until you get the hang of it. With this, I feel like you have to have good tension. Once I twirl out this curling iron, you can see I'm kind of pulling my head away from the iron. That way it's giving the tension that it needs, and I'm straightening the ends at the same time. That way I don't have to go back in with a straightener. It's just a one and done type situation, and then it's less heat as well. So this middle section is really important. I like to call it my fluff section because it's going to give your hair the fluff look that you're kind of going for. I don't know how else to explain it, but this is basically going to be your tease, but you're not teasing. You're using a bunch of this texture spray because it's going to give you that grit and fluff that is underneath that beautiful top section that looks just the right amount of messy, but this one you can kind of frizz up a little bit, and then that way the top section that we're about to do is going to lay on top of it, but it'll still get the height without looking frizzy or messy. Now we are at the top section. I am actually sectioning out the crown for last, so it's kind of like an upside down triangle, and clipping that out of the way. This is what we're gonna do for the very last thing. So I'm gonna take each side and wave them first. My advice for curling the top section is make it more relaxed than the other sections that you've waved / curled, because this will already be supported by the previous sections and the volume that you've already given it. So leave more ends out. I would say at least 1 inch to 1.5 inches out on the ends, and then just real quick wave it a little bit. You don't have to put much heat on this top section, and that's better for us anyway, because normally most of us, our top section is more damaged than others. It's just the way it is. Everyone's naturally thinner on the top anyway. Also, the 2 front pieces on either side of your head, you want them to be the most relaxed looking pieces, I guess you could say, and I get a little bit of frizz on the top near my root, so I kind of just take the barrel and move it back and forth. That way it calms down the baby hairs. They're actually breakage, but we don't have to talk about that. And I'm just quickly curling it and leaving a lot of the ends out, and you can see I'm pulling that tension and leaving the ends because we don't want it to be as curly as the rest. Some people also, I've heard, have a lot of aggravation getting this very top section that's finer to stay in a wave all day, and I feel like if you are having issues with that, do another shot of texture spray before you curl it. That way it kind of gives it, I hate to say this, but like a hairspray feel, and that way it's a little bit more stiff and your hair isn't as soft. Then that way as you wrap the hair around the barrel, it's going to stay molded to that shape that you're creating it to, and then hopefully your fine hair will kind of just have the grit, and then you can spray it one more time at the end. Hopefully that makes it stay, and hopefully that helps. Alright, now we are at our crown section, our upside down triangle that we clipped away earlier. I'm just brushing this first piece out to make sure there's no knots, and I'm just waving it like I have done before. This way the crown can overlay the top of like the highest point of your head. That way it doesn't fall flat and you still have a little bit of volume up top there. Personally, I always lose my volume in this section, so I always clip it away for the very last part that I do. Then that way it stays curled or waved for the majority of the day and I don't have to worry about it. I'm giving my hair one last shot of texture spray. I personally can never have enough of this, and I'm piecing everything out. Now this is where you can really mold everything to how you want it to be. I'm taking a section in the front and I'm pulling everything towards the mirror. Then that way, as I mold it to whatever shape or part that I want, I'll still have those soft face framing pieces that are doing what they're supposed to be doing, framing your face. Pulling this top section, at least some of it, and pulling it straight up towards the ceiling, and then I'm molding it back and forth. That way, no matter what throughout the day, my hair is flexible and I can do whatever part I want to. Definitely get creative with this, figure out what works for you, switch up your part, and definitely practice first without the curling iron plugged in. I don't want you to burn your hair off. So please practice, message me if you have any questions, and I hope you learned something today. Alright, so I hope you really enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it as always. I hope you learned some tips and tricks on how to do some beachy waves. I know they can be really intimidating and you don't know where to start, what products to use, but I hope you learned a little something in this video. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye.